Welcome to another. I'm fine. Welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, you got your guys, Kenny, Ryan, Brian. Um, my boys, how are we doing? I haven't seen you guys in a little bit.
We're ready for football.
We're ready for football, man. We're about 2 weeks out. College football is this week, and I'm
Saturday.
pumped about that Saturday.
College football Saturday?
Saturday,
Yeah, bro. Week 0.
Shit. Oh,
It opens with FSU at Georgia Tech in Ireland.
in Ireland, in Dublin, and Dublin. So, with that being said, we'll just touch on college football, man. I'm super geeked about that. Like I said before, or like we said before, we talked about it. We will be starting our road to 100K challenge. If you guys are following us in DraftKings, then cool. We might be switching to a different platform and doing some more picks there. All of our picks tracking there, but for the moment being, all the guys is in here already. Most of our followers are in the DraftKings. We appreciate y'all. We'll keep y'all in tune, but it's the road to 100K. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, you said it's 8 picks starting with at $27 or what?
oh shit.
It's 8 if we start at 27. It's 7 if we start at 50.
So if we start at 50, it's 7
We're
picks.
starting at 50, I think.
Okay, we're starting at 50. So 7 picks in a row, starting at 50. It's no pressure, right? You do it however you want to. It's no pressure.
Wait, Brian, didn't you already start?
I did. I did like a practice run. I hit
And
the
how-
first one. And then
no. He missed the first one.
No, I didn't.
And
I
then
hit
this-
the first one.
No, the first one you did when we turned this podcast off was the over on the 2 preseason games, and we missed.
Oh, yeah.
that was the first.
That was a practice run.
That was week 0.
That was also I said on the show that I didn't really want to touch NFL with this, mostly going to be college, and that's why. Because NFL is so unpredictable.
Yeah, NFL is gonna be unpredictable. College, I think. Let me not be overconfident, but I think we're gonna fuck them up in college. I think really you just need to, in this process, the biggest thing I say to everybody is just control your greed for as much as you can. You only need 2 teams, right? Or you need a team that's plus around 200. 180 was probably the minimum. 220, 240 is probably the maximum. But 2 teams that, spread minus 110 should get you that plus 2 whatever, right? So with that being said, I think that you guys should not be greedy. If you do your 2 teams and take your time, then you should be good and get there. But like I said, we're going to be putting our bets in DraftKings, so you'll be able to see it there. But yeah, I think we'll be able to get that for sure, based upon me and Brian's track record, especially if you fuck with us on the night games.
Oh yeah, those West Coast games.
Yeah. So anyway, as far as the slate going for college football, like we said before, Saturday you have Florida State versus Georgia Tech, and I'm going to give you, I think Brian's on the board with this, but I'm going to give you our 2 teams that we are taking for our first 2 legs. Florida State minus, it's going to probably be minus 10 or minus 9.5, and the over for the SMU Nevada game. Are we agreeing on that? Did we say that? Or we said
what's the over on the SMU game again?
54.
Yeah, I mean, I know SMU is going to be a pretty good team this year. They're going to score a lot.
Yeah, they have the majority of their team bringing back.
So, I mean, they're going to probably put up 42 themselves.
Yeah, I think that
I could see that easy.
I like that. I think the Florida State game is, if you want to push some points up, if you want to push some points down on the SMU, maybe to make sure it's a multiple of 7, or with the 3, if you want to add a field goal, that makes sense. And you can push the Florida State game. I think you can push the Florida State game up to minus 14, 13.5, to be honest with you. If you want to kind of hedge on both sides there, because I think Florida State is going to dog the fuck out of Georgia Tech. Just personally, Georgia Tech has a good squad. They have a decent squad, but if I know anything for what I saw last year, when Mike Norville came out the gate against LSU, Florida State, granted they don't have the same defense, but they got some dogs still. and they always got players. DJ Ugalawea is down there still, so I'm sure he'd be ready to go. It might be a little shaky at first, but I think they can win by 14 against Georgia Tech. So, other than that, you got a Montana State New Mexico game, which Montana State is favorite there. Which is it's a little weird to me. I know Montana State is, I think they're AA. They were a good team last year, but we'll see that. And then the Hawaii Delaware State game is a late game, so if we got some extra funds, we might play around on that game because
where's that playing at?
It's playing in Hawaii. It's an 11:59 game.
What's the spread right now?
The spread is 39.
Yeah, I believe it because Hawaii. If you have to travel to Hawaii and you're not that good of a team, you're gonna be jet lag. That's a factor.
Yeah, jet lag. I think to that point as well. Hawaii likes to score. That coach down in Hawaii. Remember last year? I don't think he believes in punting. He's just trying to score, trying to run it up, and they are true air raid. I'm talking old school. What's the quarterback that used to be at their team? Oh man, Colt Brennan.
Colt Brennan, yeah.
Like that old school Colt Brennan. We're gonna run it up to 60. So that might be a good game. You might put on the afternoon, but for the most part, that's where we're gonna start with our 2-leg, and then build from there. I think after that, the next Thursday got a couple good games. You got some. I think you had what is us on here? You got Kansas is playing Lindenwood, which is we'll see what happens there. The North Carolina game is going to be interesting at 2.5. I think that Colorado only 10 points versus North Dakota State is
that should be slammed.
Yeah, that's a weird looking game. And then you got Jackson State versus Coastal Carolina, which I think based upon the over-under, I think you can hit the under on that because I know Coastal Carolina throws the ball, but they don't have the same quarterback. And Jacksonville State, they're a good defensive team, but it's really shaky, man. I will be cautious on the over-unders unless they have a returning quarterback, to be cautious on the over-unders because for the most part, they are going to be shaky. The offenses are going to be shaky. It's going to be a lot of unders that hit in the first week, but don't let that fool you because it's college football. And that doesn't last for long. So you'll be hitting first week, and then the offenses start finding their stride, and then you'll see a lot of overs get hit. So I think if you being honest, in the first 2-3 weeks, you can make a lot of money just because Vegas is going to be trying to catch up. So is my algorithm trying to catch up and figure what the madness is going on. And then at that point in time, it'll kind of reset itself. So that's what I got for college football. Yeah.
I just want to get to football, so we're gonna do baseball next week.
I like what's going on in baseball.
Baseball. I mean, come on. What do you want to talk about? How every team that's supposed to be good just like falling apart, like the Yankees, the whole American League East, just like 5-5 in the last 10, just playing 500 ball. Like
you just wanted to say that about the Yankees. You just would do whatever you can to throw a dig at them. You literally said every team like the Yankees and then stopped listing teams.
Do you want to know how many nights in a row that I feel like I bet on the Yankees and then they lose? Now they're smashing tonight because I lay off.
But yeah, that was the model said Cleveland, and I was like, I don't want to believe that because they don't look right, but whatever. So
Cleveland's a team on the road too.
Yeah, so and I thought they got a sneaky one yesterday, but that's besides the point. So New York struggling, Orioles inconsistent struggling. The Guardians, same thing. Who else?
Houston has been on fire.
Houston has been cooking. They had a little upset yesterday, but other than that, they've been running it up a little bit.
They're gonna win the whole thing.
Phillies and the Braves, boy, oh my gosh. Just forget
both those teams are struggling. The Braves mostly because of injury.
The Dodgers have been struggling,
but they're getting healthier.
And you see the Padres, they just creeping up. They're creeping up 72-55. They're 3 games behind the Dodgers, and right now I think they're number 1 in wild card, if I'm not mistaken. So I like how San Diego is looking there. A team that's been really under the radar, even though they're not going to do nothing, is definitely the Mets. Of late, they kind of been sneaky wins. I didn't say I don't say they're going to be anything. I just said they have sneaky wins. So they've been doing some sneaky wins there. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I'm really disappointed in Toronto. I'm not Toronto into Toronto. I am disappointed in them, but I'm disappointed in the Rangers. They kind of
they shit the bed. They're pretty much out of it.
You know who I'm proud of? I'm proud of the Athletics, man. They're not closing the gate. They're better than 4 other teams.
They might actually go over their win total. It was at 60.5.
Oh yeah, they'll
start
get that.
The year.
I think they'll get that.
They're at 54 wins right now, with about a month and a half left.
54 wins, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they can get that.
They're on pace to.
So, man, I need the Angels to step it up. Anyway, that's it. As far as players, do you like anybody who's really cooked? Aaron Judge has been consistent. That's why I'm tracking that.
Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt
in the American League.
Bobby Witt Jr. I know you said that was your boy, and I was like, oh yeah, he's cool. I like him from the home run. Normally they fall and hit a slump. That's one of my favorite players right now.
Yeah,
that white boy like that.
He's good.
He is really good. I really like how he play. I like his swagger. I like he gets Kansas City going, and he's a dog, bro. And you see Kansas City record, they're 70-56, right? Yeah. So and nobody expected him to be there or continue. So I definitely like him. And I didn't know that Guerrero Jr. was playing so well as well. Like statistically, his numbers actually look pretty good. And I was dogging him a little bit like a couple podcast episodes ago. But
early in the season he was not very good, but around June timeframe, he started hitting like crazy.
Yeah, he started warming up. He said, "Oh, okay, this is my weather."
Yeah, and then the National League. I mean, obviously Ohtani. I think Ozuna has a dark shot at maybe getting MVP.
Hey, sneaky.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Like under the radar.
Everybody's all over Ohtani.
Yeah,
he'll probably win just because of popularity. But I mean, Ozuna's right there with him in every category except for steals. That's the only thing Ohtani's got on him.
94 RBIs, 37 homers, and 309 batting average. And then what does Ohtani have? Ohtani has, let me see. Ohtani has, where's it at? Here you go. Ohtani has 291. So he beat him there. 291, 39 homers, and 88 RBIs. But he had, like you said to your point, Ohtani, I think he has 30-something steals, right? 30-something.
Maybe that's 20-something, I think. But
20-something? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but still, I mean, Ozuna maybe has like a handful of steals, not that many, less than 10 probably. So that's where Ohtani kind of like.
Ohtani has 38.
Does he really have that many?
Yeah, he has 38.
Okay, well that's a big deal. That's going to be a big gap there.
Because of him and De La Cruz, they were talking about both being able to go 30 and 30.
Yeah, but here's the thing: in my mind, if Ozuna can win the Triple Crown, which is the league lead in home runs, RBIs, and average, which he has the lead in 2 of those. I think if he wins the Triple Crown, he should be the MVP.
But
because it's such a rare feat, you don't see it happen very often. You might see it happen in both leagues this year.
Yeah, he's 2 behind, Ohtani for that, so he can get that. Yeah. He can get that. And Luis Arraez, I don't know how to say his name. He's
Luis Arraez.
Arraez, sorry. He's 0.06. So he has RBIs. Shohei has to do some work. He has 6 more RBIs than Shohei. So he has to do some work there, but
Yeah.
Bobby Witt, he ain't too far ahead. Oh, he is. He's like 20.20 ahead of.
Yeah.
He a couple hits ahead of Aaron Judge. But Aaron Judge could do it. Isn't this really the second straight year?
To what? Win the Triple Crown?
Yeah. Did he do it last year?
Triple Crown last was won by Miguel Cabrera in like 2012.
Okay, cool. In the AL, right? So
yeah. And then before that, it was like in the 60s.
Okay.
That it was last done. So like that's just to show you how rare it is.
Who's Anthony Santander?
Anthony Santander. He plays for the Orioles. He
Bro,
hits lefties like crazy.
Bro, he has 37 homers.
Oh yeah, he's got good power. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like that.
Yeah, he's like.
How many games are left?
About 40 probably.
40 games, I think.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Do they tend to play the whole time, or do they start taking rests?
How many games?
The only players that might rest are you might see some of your like stud pitchers if you're in the playoffs. They might take off the last start that they're supposed to have. But positional players mostly they might take one night off a week or something in the last like 2 weeks. But you don't want to like rest too much in baseball because you quickly can get rusty.
So they got 35 games left.
Yeah, and the odds of getting hurt is pretty low.
Right. Yeah. No, it really is.
In baseball?
Yeah,
yes.
For pitching?
No.
No.
For positional players.
Oh, I thought you said for pitch. I said what?
No, that's why you do rest your pitchers though.
Yeah, they got 35 games left. So
yeah. So that's all. That's all there is for baseball.
Is it time for football?
Yeah, let's get to it,
guys. We made it. We made it.
We've almost made it.
We've made it.
Like
we got 1 week left.
We were crying at the NBA, like, what are we gonna do? It's just got baseball.
Yeah. I cannot wait. This is gonna be amazing. Listen, I think the only thing of news is that JJ McCarthy is out for the entire season. He loses his rookie season to injury. Was it torn meniscus? I think is what it was.
Yeah, in his knee. Yeah.
I don't understand that. How is he out for the full year for torn meniscus?
It depends on severity.
Because it was a full tear, and they had to reach. If they did the surgery, and if it was just a cleanup, then they would have been fine. But since it was a full tear, they had to shut him down all year.
That might be like cautious too. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, why take the chance on this guy? You know, you're not going to make the playoffs this year anyways. Like, whatever.
Bo Nix as another start is marked as the starter for Denver. We're going to have Jaden Daniels, the starter for Washington. These are announced starters. Gardner Minshew is the starter for the Raiders.
I like
so
that.
That's pretty cool. Everyone thought McDonald would win that job, but O'Connell or whatever.
O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell. They thought he was going to win the job, but nope.
Yeah.
Minshew won that job.
Minshew magic.
Yeah. Who else is starting? Caleb Williams obviously is going to be started. They haven't announced it. The only one that would be interesting, and Brian could probably shed some light on this, is Drake May might be the starter. Like Jacoby Brissett, we thought was going to be the veteran that was going to come in. He threw a horrendous pick in the preseason in the red zone last week.
Yeah.
And Drake May came out and played well. And then, like we've talked about, Joe Milton has looked great. So I don't know.
I definitely think that Jacoby Brissett is more on the ropes than he had been before this last preseason game. But I think if I was a betting man, I'd still think Brissett's going to be the starter week 1.
I don't think so.
But it won't last long if he does stuff like that again.
I think it's May. It's May. I think it's May. You want to put money on it?
I'm just saying
you cover my first bet.
The reporters that I listen to out of Boston media, no, they've said that I've heard one person go so far as saying that the Patriots might have overvalued Drake May in the draft.
They did
because he is not ready. So
whatever
that means.
That's what he was pitched as. He was pitched as a.
But we said that as a North Carolina quarterback, they're never ready.
They're never ready.
Physical tools, and they're never ready.
Yeah, he definitely has the physical tools. Got the arm. He can move. He's a quick learner. I'll give him that. But I think he was just too far behind the curve to be starter immediately.
Kenny, let's get your opinion on this because me and Brian have already shared this opinion. if Drake May goes in as the starter, if he gets injured of some sort and they have to turn to Joe Milton,
It's a wrap.
Does Joe Milton lose that job again?
I don't think so, because Joe Milton, what I would say is, okay, people are going to say, hey, I remember I heard Julian Edelman talk about it. They said, well, he did leave Michigan for a reason. Okay, yeah, he did leave Michigan for a reason, right? Just like most quarterbacks end up leaving teams in college because they're immature and they got to build, right? I think him being behind Hendon Hooker for a year, seeing how their officers ran in Tennessee, Josh Heupel like teaching him how to be a quarterback, I think he matured a little bit. And what I think from what you see, during preseason, is he has some gamer in him. And I think at the end of Tennessee, he has some gamer in him. And I think if he does get that position, that's because he's a physical specimen and he could play. I think that he definitely will take over the position, and it would be hard to give Drake May the opportunity, but it's the draft. And Drake May is the first-round quarterback, and they owe him money. So unless Drake May completely Jamarcus Russell's this, there's no way that he does not get another opportunity. Because
I agree.
I would just say that if Milton does get a shot in this scenario, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I think that they would just keep running with him. And I think it would be a similar situation that San Francisco had with Purdy and Trey Lance. Trey Lance was the number 3 overall pick, and they traded him.
The difference is Trey Lance looked awful in practice, and they knew he was bad.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't want to put him out there. They did everything they could. They kept what's his name around.
You're right,
Jimmy G. Yeah, they did not want to put him out there.
But if Joe Milton gets his opportunity, he comes out looking like a young Cam Newton, and perhaps you could say even better, because I think he's a more accurate passer. How do you stop that? How do you say, oh, well, we're going to put the other guy back in, he's healthy now? I just don't see that, because I think that's what Joe Milton could be.
I think he just, to your point, he's just a better physically. He is just a better quarterback than Drake May. Like what they want Drake May to be, as far as like, oh my God, he's a gamer and he's physical, he's big, he's fat, he can run. There's Joe Milton, and he's a Florida boy, so it's in there.
I mean, all I'm saying is, in consecutive plays in the last preseason game, granted it's against like third stringers, he didn't slide. He ran through 2 dudes, one of which came up off the field holding his chest like he just got hit by a truck. And Joe Milton just like standing over him flexing. Dude,
I just like that he steps up in the pocket.
Yeah,
he doesn't just scramble out. He steps up and climbs the pocket.
Yeah. No, he's more of a quarterback than what like Cam Newton was. Like Cam Newton was a first guy.
He's 6'5", 250.
Yes.
Like, bro,
he's bigger than most of the guys out there.
Yeah, bro, he's 6'5", 250, bro. You not, and like I said again, and he's from Florida, so he got some shit to him, right? Like I just don't understand. I know Jerod Mayo talking about putting it into the hype. There's no hype. He's really like that. So
I wouldn't be surprised if, say, Drake May's the quarterback. At some point in the season, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Wildcat package with Joe Milton anyways, especially like near the inside the red zone.
Oh yeah.
Like
I think that's a guarantee.
6'5",
you might see a 2 quarterback system.
6'5", 250, 4'5" at the quarterback position.
Yeah, he's a specimen.
It's over for Drake May.
It's not over.
No,
because like you said,
he's Taysom Hill.
It's over for Drake May. Like if he gives him the opportunity, he might not get it back. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
You literally has to just do his part, because if he gives him the opportunity and Joe Milton shows life, say Drake May comes out, okay, Jacoby Brissett, whatever. Drake May comes out and it's like, it's not a pop. And Joe Milton has some pop. It's going to be like it's gonna be like Chris Leak and Tim Tebow. When everybody's like, yeah, Chris Leak is the quarterback, but everybody's like, we want Timmy. Like, we want Tebow. Like when Tebow comes to the game, everyone's like, ah,
right.
And then Chris Leak comes back, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's
you actually saw some of that when it was Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. The crowd mostly loved Zappi. And whenever he would get into the game finally, the crowd would cheer.
Yeah.
At the, last year, especially last year when they were just sick and tired of Mac Jones because he didn't do anything special anymore. So
well, neither did Zappi. So
no, he didn't.
I think Zappi was like a clone.
Zappi at least had that gamer in him, which you can't take that away from a guy. That's just an intangible. You either have it or you don't. So,
all right. What other? Do we have anything else? Starters? I think that's it. We can carry on with whatever we're gonna go into.
Boom. Okay, let's get to it, man. It's been a year since we did like hot takes like hotcakes, right? And it's only the right situation to do it because it's football season. So, normally we go through a fantasy, hey, what to look out for, who we like, who we don't like for all positions. But this year we're just gonna get straight to it, man. We want to do, pretty much booms and busts. Not any particular order. We'll go by different position groups and just talk about different position groups, but we're just going to just talk about, who we like, who we don't like, who you guys should be looking for in your upcoming drafts. I know some people have some drafts coming up and who you should kind of fade. So
I've got 3 this weekend. I think Brian, you're in all 3 of those, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm not in any of them.
Yeah, these are ones I was in before.
Well, one's a dynasty league, so it takes longer, but yeah.
But it is so get your pens out because I don't hold anything back. I'm not going to be strategic. Like I'll tell you who I like, who I don't like, and if you snipe them from me, then you snipe them from me. So I know Bryant is going to hear that and log in real quick and write down all the names that I like. But I'm not the type to hide or not share any secrets. I'm going to tell you who I like and who I don't like and take it or leave it and do whatever you want with it. So if you see a trade offer for me trying to get a player, it's because I probably like them and I think they're a value. All right, Kenny, what are we doing? Starting position? What position you want to start with first?
I'll say running backs for last. Let's start with receivers.
Wide receivers?
Yeah, we start wide receivers and let's go with sleepers.
All right. I have my guy, and Brian's gonna know exactly who it is because I've tried to trade for him with him earlier this week. But
yeah.
So this is in terms of sleepers. I think Calvin Ridley is a sleeper this year in terms of value to what you're drafting. Yes, Kenny, you could be mad all you want.
Drafted, yeah, versus what he'll output.
He is currently being drafted in the 7th round. The 7th round. He's going to be the number 1. I don't care about DeAndre Hopkins. He's the number 1 receiver in that offense. He takes the top off the defense. And you know what I like? Even though I think that Will Levis is not a great quarterback, I think he's going to be your Jameis Winston. 30 picks, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. But he's not afraid to throw the ball downfield, and he's going to throw it downfield to Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is being drafted. Oh, man, I don't even know how far down this is, but he's at like receiver 30. He's going to finish as a top 24 receiver. Easy.
Right Kenny, now, I see Calvin Ridley is number 26, but still, you're
26. He's going to be.
He's rising.
15. Then if he's at 26, he'll be top 15. I'm willing to bet he'd be a top 15 receiver. Yeah. He had over 1,000 yards last year and was good, and that's with inconsistent Trevor Lawrence.
That's a fair point. I kind of agree with you. I don't disagree. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the fence with it. Like I could see it happening. I'm not gonna like sit here and say no way. Like it's a fair point.
right,
Sorry,
thanks.
I'm not arguing on this one.
Kenny's muted, and I know he's got a bunch of
He ain't
facial
muted now.
expressions. So I want to hear what he probably has some hate for Calvin Ridley, but let's hear it.
I don't have any hate for Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley is definitely talented and has a lot to offer. I think Will Levis is going to do better than most expect. He's going to throw the pill around. But my only thing is, you still have DeAndre Hopkins, whether he's healthy or not. DeAndre Hopkins is not going to sit there and just take the back row like, oh, I'm not going to catch the ball. He's going to win his targets, and I think that share, the volume that he's going to want is going to take away from actually what Calvin really could do. That's just kind of my take on it.
He's 32 years old.
What is that?
I mean, he's just.
It's not about
this. You see this with the receivers all the time. He's going to hit a cliff, and he's getting really close.
I'm not saying he's already at the cliff. I'm just saying mindset. You got to think about some guys have the mindset like, hey, I'm getting old. Let me be a team player. Other guys like, I'm getting old. I'm still that guy. It's like, you're really not though, bro. Like you think you're that guy, but he's not that guy, right? But that's besides the point. It's like
really, baby.
Yeah.
That's my sleeper.
Who you got, Kenny?
I got Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah. That's my sleeper. I think that yes, you have DK Metcalf, but what DK Metcalf has turned into is what we thought he was the whole time, was a one-trick pony. I got you for a go and deep and a post, but I know a lot of people look at Tyler Lockett like, oh man, he's a guy. He's not the same dude, man. And I think what we saw last year was JSN get going towards the end, and I think his connection with Gino is only going to get better. And I think him being in a slot, taking over more roles, they're going to give him more targets. So I think you'll see it increase from there. I think you'll see him, have a breakout season. Comparatively, I'm not exactly sure where he's getting drafted at, but I know it's not high. I know everybody kind of looked at him as a kind of afterthought, as like a kind of Tyler Boyd kind of role. But I definitely think he will be pretty good.
I cannot agree more with Kenny. And surprisingly, look, Ryan Grubb coming over as the offensive coordinator from Washington, who had an excellent season. It was a passing offense, and who had an excellent receiver. Who was an excellent receiver was Polk, and Polk played mainly in the slot. But that's where Njigba is going to be. Yeah, look it up, Brian. I know we talked about it.
So the thing is this, though.
I thought you were talking about Washington Commanders. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
He's going to not play the Polk role, though. He's going to play the McMillan role.
No,
that's why I like even better. Because the McMillan role is they're going to put him all over. Because you can't do that with Tyler Lockett, right? Tyler Lockett is kind of older, so you're not going to want him to be the gadget guy. But McMillan for Washington, they had him in the slot. They had him outside. They had him doing different reverses. They had him, doing different things to give him the ball. And I think that's where you see him in that role. But either way, I think, Grubb coming over, his offense, if anybody watched college football last year and what he was doing in Washington, those routes that they were doing was not normal routes. Like, that was some guru shit. Like,
yeah. For some value, he's being drafted in the 9th round. That's where you want to take a shot on a player like that. A guy with a potential upside to being a top 24 guy.
Hold on, let me get
being drafted late. So I like that. That's sleeper.
All right.
Bye. Receivers.
I got two. I got a veteran and I got a rookie. Okay, so we're gonna start with the veteran. I think Amari Cooper is getting drafted way too low. I think he's gonna have a really good season this year. Because I've been hearing reports that Deshaun Watson is in the best shape of his life. He's been getting those daily rub downs, so he's back. Okay. That offense is gonna be good. And Amari Cooper is gonna be leading the way in the wide receiver core. I think he's easily a wide receiver 2. He's being drafted outside of that. He's being drafted as a wide receiver 3 right now. So I think he will be a sleeper. And then my other guy, or do you guys have comments on that?
No, I'm a Amari Cooper fan. I like him.
He's just a steady Eddie. He's That's what he is.
He's getting overlooked, I think, by some of these flashier objects that may or may not pan out.
I agree. I mean, I just have no faith in Deshaun Watson. Even when he comes back, like he's got the massage thing, and then it's like every 2 seconds he's got. He couldn't throw the ball, but he was starting, and then he'd get in the game and he'd like shot put it down 5 yards. Like I don't know what happened last year. He said he was injured, then he said he wasn't injured, but then he played, and then he was actually. I don't know. Something about him and the Browns just scream like we're trash and we're gonna fuck this up. But I will give Stefanski, their head coach. They usually have a pretty good offense, so I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I didn't think Stefanski was a good coach as far as like that scheme and Watson, but I have heard otherwise, so I'll leave that alone. I know Brian might touch back on something. I have a couple other receivers, but I'm not, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go too much. But I wanted to put out that Brian Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville.
That was my rookie sleeper.
Brian Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville.
Yes.
I've been saying it though since the draft. I said, bro, I know everybody's looking at Malik Neighbors, but Brian Thomas Jr., his numbers is crazy, right? And when he gets down there, Gabe Davis is not it. I know people want him to be, but Gabe Davis is not it.
No.
Christian Kirk, stay hurt. Okay. So,
Brian Thomas Jr. He's being drafted right now as the 50th receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a flex option at best.
Oh yeah, he's a dart throw at the end of your draft. He's a guy you throw on your team and just see.
Yeah, but I might be taking him higher than that just to get him.
It's no just see though. He's going to be on the field, and he has to get the ball because they're not throwing it to anybody else.
I want to ask this question real quick, just because I know you guys are intimately knowledgeable about this. Which receiver are you taking out of these three? They all play on the same team. Nico, Diggs, or Tank Dell?
Stephon Diggs will be a bust this year.
I think it's Tank Dell.
Tank Dell for sure.
He's going to be reliable. Like, he's going to be that chain mover.
It's the chemistry, and he's in the slot, right? The chain mover, he's in the slot.
Nico's the big play guy.
I would have said Nico 2 weeks ago, but just because I love Tank Dell, I just thought he was gonna be slow coming out from injury. They were gonna roll him in. He did, dude. First week, he's like catching touchdowns. Like, it's whatever. So I like Tank Dell. Don't draft Tank Dell. That doesn't mean all three are on the board and you have to take one. Take Tank Dell before you take. Like, let the board fall.
No,
because you have to play.
No. You take Tank Dell first.
Oh my goodness!
It's
all right.
You take Tank Dell first.
Nico's average. He's not going to be there. You're not going to have to worry about it. So if it's the third round, 6th pick, because that's where Nico is getting drafted. Third round, 6. Listen to me. Third round, 6th pick. You're drafting. Are you taking Nico, or are you taking Nico at that pick, or are you taking Tank Dell?
I'm taking Tank Dell.
Okay, well then
Nico's not good to me.
Okay. Listen to me, Kenny. Jesus Christ. So then you don't draft Tank Dell in the 3rd round with the 6th pick. You wait and get. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you.
How is Nico getting drafted 3rd round? Is it beyond me? I get it.
That's where he's going.
That's where he's going.
He's the 15th receiver off the board right now.
That's okay. He is a product of his quarterback. That's it. Now you got Stephon Diggs in, and y'all both do the same thing.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Who do you got as a bust? I said mine. Stephon Diggs is a bust.
Oh, Diggs. My bust. Oh, by the way, I wanted one more. Jalen Waddle. I'm really high on Waddle this year. I think he's going to have a good season. And
Roll Tide.
That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, but my bust is because people keep calling him out as like the guy. So there's a number of factors why I'm gonna call him a bust. George Pickens is my bust because people are in love with this guy because he's the number one in Pittsburgh right now. But here's a couple of reasons why. One,
Quarterback trash.
The quarterbacks are both trash, regardless of which one he starts. Both quarterbacks are trash. Both if they do take Brandon Ayuk in that trade, because there's an agreed upon trade between San Francisco and Pittsburgh in terms of draft pick and also contract, that basically San Francisco will accept this trade if they've given an offer to Brandon Ayuk, and if Brandon Ayuk says no, then they're going to do this trade and he's going to be a Pittsburgh. So Ayuk is either going to be in Pittsburgh or he's going to be in San Francisco. So, but if Ayuk comes, then that also takes targets away from him. And the last reason why George Pickens will not be good is because Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator for that team. And he was in Atlanta last year, and all they did was run the ball. They run the ball all day long. And what? Their tight ends sometimes get catches, but then freaking Drake London did nothing for Atlanta last year. So I just think that it's a trap play. I know George Pickens is going to be tasty for some people, but he's going to be a bust, in my opinion. That's it. Even if he's being drafted in the 5th round, so you're taking him around Tank Dell. I'd rather have Tank Dell. Amari Cooper. We'd rather have Amari Cooper. T. Higgins. I'd rather have T. Higgins. These are players around that time that you'd be drafted. Zay Flowers. Devonta Smith is the end of the 4th. I'd rather have all these players than George Pickens. All right. That's my bust. Brian, you're up unless Kenny wants to argue with me, but it sounds like he agrees with me.
All right. So my bust might be surprising, but Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he's being drafted insanely too high right now. He's currently the 12th receiver coming off the board. They're projecting him as a wide receiver 1. I don't see the volume because
Kenny, calm yourself down.
I just don't see the volume there. Kyler Murray has never thrown from like a lot more than 4,000 yards. Like he's always around 4,000 yards. I don't know. I just think they're going to be running the ball a lot with James Conner, and Kyler. I just don't see the volume. I don't know. I just feel bad about it. I'm staying away from him. He's being drafted too high. It's just a gut thing. And I love Marvin Harrison Jr. But not in fantasy this year.
Now no, that's not true. You do like Marvin Harrison Jr. and you do like him in fantasy. That doesn't mean he's just not where he's being drafted.
Yes.
He is. You have to take him at the beginning of the 2nd round to get him on your team.
That's crazy. That's too high.
That's hard. That's now maybe next year you're kicking yourself because you wish you would have had him in the 2nd round because he's a number one receiver or something like that. But I mean, it's just this year as a rookie, unproven.
Yeah.
To get him, would you rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 2nd round or wait and grab Malik Neighbors in the 4th round, 2 rounds later?
Mm-hmm. I don't. That's about the same for me, only because of the quarterback situation in New York. And I'm not.
Well, I mean,
I don't trust Jones.
There doesn't need to be a good.
I know nobody else is getting the ball there. I get it. So yeah, I mean, it's better that if I'm going to strike out, I'd rather strike out in the 4th than the 2nd. Let's put it that way. Because if you miss a pick in the 2nd round, that basically that's it. Your season's probably done.
I mean, I'm not comparing Malik Neighbors to Devontae Adams, but with a terrible quarterback last year in he still had over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns.
I
That's
understand
my only market. He's unless he gets injured, Neighbors is gonna unless he gets injured, he's gonna have at least 150 targets at least.
The difference being though is Las Vegas moved the ball a lot last year. Even though they weren't a good team, their offense still produced. It was, but with the Giants, I mean, they couldn't even move the ball. They were awful
But
because
I'm
their
just
line
saying,
was so bad.
So you're gonna tell me if he's gonna get 150 targets this year?
Is he though?
Yes, I guarantee. I can.
Did anybody get 150 targets last year?
Barring injury, he's getting 150 targets. No one was good enough last year. He is going to the whole game is going to be planned around him. The whole game plan.
It is, but I don't think that the quarterbacks have enough time.
They didn't game plan the game around him last year. Last year they game planned everything around Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Who had the majority of touches and catches. Like if things aren't working out, they're gonna if he doesn't get a target in the first half, you know he's getting in their face at halftime, and he's gonna get some quick shovel passes. Like I just can't see him not finishing as a top 24 guy. So like getting him in the 4th round as a wide receiver 2, I'd take that. A high end wide receiver 2. Anyways, I agree with your Marvin Harrison take. Kenny, go ahead. What do you want to say about Marvin Harrison?
Who else are they throwing the ball to besides Trey McBride?
That's it.
McBride has 4,000 receiving yards?
No, but I mean, other guys are there. I mean, just there's no names there. Who do they still have that guy that like had like a few games last year that was like breaking out? Huh?
Were they gonna throw it to Wilson?
Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Mike Wilson, yeah.
Mike Williams.
No, Wilson.
Yeah,
so they have
Michael Wilson.
Have what's his name in the slot? What's his name?
Rondale's gone, isn't he?
Greg Dortch. Yeah, and Rondale's gone for the year, by the way.
Yeah, Greg Dortch.
Sure.
Yeah.
So even if you have 4 receivers and they all got 1,000 yards, is he?
I mean, but you know it doesn't play out like that, Kenny.
Because he's getting the ball.
No.
What do you mean? He's the number 1 pick. He getting the ball.
Yeah.
Unless he's hurt, they're gonna feed him the ball.
Okay. But to be the 12th best receiver in the league, I don't see it.
He's the number 1 option on the team. Who else are they giving the ball to? You keep saying James Conner. They're not going to
Mr. Me at quarterback. That's who.
That's what Mr. Me needs to do his stats. He can't throw it to himself. So he's gonna throw it. He's gonna pick somebody he's gonna throw it to. And guess who's gonna be? Marvin Harrison Jr.
We'll see. I don't trust him being a wide receiver 1. That's all I'm saying. Could he be a wide receiver 2? Possibly.
Who do you want more over him? Who else is in that 12th spot that you think is better?
Here we go.
I would take Cooper Kupp over him. That's easy. Cooper Kupp's like 20th right now.
Receiver?
Yes.
Hey, let me tell you what happened. Last year, Nico had he was the wide receiver 12. He had 1297 and 8 touchdowns. You don't think Marvin Harrison can hit those numbers?
You could, but you're taking a big risk there.
No,
in the second round, you need to hit your pick.
Now, what Brian is saying, Kenny, is you're drafting him at his ceiling or at his value, value. You're drafting him at his value. You want to get players. What he's saying is you're drafting him where he needs to be.
Yeah, I would draft him there if that's his floor. If that was his floor, then yeah, I would be comfortable drafting him there. That would be like me drafting Tyreek Hill in the 2nd round. That obviously that's never happening, but that's what I'm saying. If his floor is in the 2nd round, then yeah.
All right, so he's the 8th wide receiver being drafted right now. Kenny.
Who? Marvin
Harrison.
You're looking at a different list than I am. So there you go. That's even worse than what I was saying.
His ADP is 2.03. 203. That in what the list I'm looking at is he's the 8th wide receiver off the board. So that means that he cannot finish after 8. Like if he finishes 12, he'd still hit those numbers and be a wide receiver 1, but it's still a little bit of a bust because you draft him as the wide receiver 8. That's what Brian's arguing. The margin of error is smaller by taking him so high.
All right. I'm ready to move on.
Sure.
Who's
George
your bust?
Pickens sucks.
Oh yeah, you said your bust.
Diggs. What position? Pick a position.
Let's go tight end. Actually, fuck tight end. We don't care about tight ends. Let's go. That's easy.
Oh.
Let's go
Dalton Kincaid's gonna be a beast this year. Draft him. That's it. That's all I want to say.
What about QBs?
Sleepers?
I might want to get my sleeper out of the way before Brian gets his.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because. All right. So sleepers. I think this is one of the best values in the draft is going to be Kyler Murray. He's being drafted in the 7th round. You got to remember this guy was 2 years ago before his injury. Like he was getting drafted as like the 3rd quarterback off the board. You can get him in the 7th round. You can get him later than CJ Stroud. You can get him later than Dak. You can get him later than Joe Burrow. The value in Kyler is unbelievable. And it's because he runs the ball. Those running quarterbacks, that adds so much value to a team because he could throw 20 touchdowns this season, just 20 or 21 touchdowns and still be a high-end quarterback 1, like top 5 because of his rushing abilities. And even if he runs a little bit less than he has in the past, he runs like 600 yards. He's still a threat in the red zone. He's going to get rushing touchdowns. He's a guy you want on your team. And it just the margin of error, he's not going to finish as the quarterback drafted in the 7th round. So I would take Kyler Murray all day. He's my sleeper.
What you got, Brian?
I mean, it's quite obvious based on who I picked at wide receiver that my sleeper is Deshaun Watson. He's currently the 20th quarterback coming off the board on the list that I'm looking at anyways. And I think that's way too low. He might be a top 12 quarterback by the end of the year. Like I said, I think it's going to be a breakout year for the Cleveland offense.
Man.
And he's got the run ability, which coincides with what Ryan was saying about Kyler. Same thing. So obviously not on the same level, but
what I will say to people here in this forum, anyone that is listening to this and wants to listen to Brian's opinion and you agree with Deshaun Watson, do not draft Deshaun Watson as your number 1 quarterback. That is a pick.
Yeah.
That you take. You take your other quarterback. You take a guy that you like that's risky, and then you take him later. You take Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson in every list that I've done, unless it's a 2 quarterback super flex league, he's like going undrafted. Like you can get him so late.
Yes,
you're the last pick of your draft. You can draft him.
Yes.
So if you take someone like here's an example. If you take Jared Goff, because Jared Goff, Seattle or the Lions have a favorable matchups for like the first 5 weeks. He's going to go off. He's playing in the dome. He's got a lot of home games in the beginning of the season. If you draft Jared Goff, you can throw Deshaun Watson on the back end and then have both those quarterbacks and then give yourself some leeway. And then you're starting Goff early on, and then maybe Deshaun booms or busts. And if he busts within the first 2 weeks, you didn't start him, you started Goff, and then you just dump Deshaun and pick up somebody else.
So
I never see Kenny mute himself more often.
I don't know if mine is considered sleeper because everybody's been talking about him already. But I think Caleb Williams is gonna be that guy. Like, I don't think he's a sleeper, right? But I don't think people are gonna draft him too high because there's a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think he'll be it, but I think the pieces that surround him and the Bears and him being a dude, I think he's gonna have a hell of a year.
I think that Hard Knocks has made me like him more.
He's definitely the real deal.
Yeah.
And so based on where he's being drafted in most leagues, like the list I'm looking at says 13th quarterback, then he has sleeper potential there because he might be a fringe top 5 quarterback.
He's being drafted in the 9th round.
7. Yeah.
I think Anthony Richardson is somebody that's on everybody's list. Like, hey man, break back season, right? I think Anthony Richardson has a lot of potential, but if you tell me you want Anthony Richardson or Caleb Williams, most people say I want Anthony Richardson in fantasy because he can run the ball. He has some tools there with Michael Pittman and Adon Mitchell and fucking Josh Downs, blah blah blah. When you just watch Caleb Williams, he just looks like
he's different.
I belong. Like I've been here, bro. Like this, like he looks like he's been in the league for a couple years. And those dudes are the dudes that pop. Like Jaden Daniels the same way.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels, and he's there. He's just like, it's like he's back at LSU. He's like, Granted, I know you're gonna say it's preseason, bro. It's still something to say. Just have the composure. He doesn't look sped up. He doesn't look like, I don't know where to go. His feet's not all over the place. He's just chilling. He's like, bro, it's a normal day in the office, bro. You know, and that's what my sleeper pick is.
This is I could not agree with you more, and I'm glad you said Jaden Daniels was going to be my pick before I saw Kyler, and I was like, oh, I should probably go with Kyler instead because I really do like Kyler, but I'd rather take Jaden Daniels in the 10th round than take Anthony Richardson with the 5th round.
Yeah,
I'm not taking my 5th round pick on Anthony Richardson when I could grab a Jaden Daniels who is Anthony Richardson light, literally light because he's smaller and skinnier.
Faster, better thrower, more experience, better pocket presence. Right.
And Caleb Williams is that dude. And what I like that I think he's going to do, he's going to throw interceptions this year because I think he's going to take some chances. Did you see that frozen rope he threw in the preseason rolling out to his right? And it was like a 30-yard pass down the field. It was just like a freaking line. It was he's going to do stuff like that and he's going to get picked off a lot, but he's going to have favorable fantasy matchups.
I don't think that though. That's never been his thing though. Right. And I could understand you said, man, it's different from when you go from high school to, if you look at his numbers in high school, not that case. If you look at his numbers in college, it wasn't that case. Last year we had a lot of picks, right? But that's because he was forcing throws, but because he didn't have, they were putting up 60 points and still losing. He's like, I gotta keep scoring. I can't just go 3-9. I gotta try some stuff. But when he's in the league, I don't think it. I think he's very cerebral, man. He's a smart dude. And I think when you got veteran players around, you got a DJ Moore, you got a Keenan Allen, they got Roman Dunze, right? You still got Coco. It's like, bro, it's gonna be hard to stop them guys when you got somebody that can throw it wherever he needs to put it at. It's different with Justin Fields. It's like, I need different route tree. This dude, like, I don't care what route you run, bro. If you want me thrown in a bucket, I'm throwing it in a bucket. Like, that's what's going on. But let me not delay that. Who do you got? Let me start off with my bus. My bus is fucking Justin Herbert. That is my bus. Justin Herbert is a bus.
But Kenny, he's like the 15th quarterback. I guess, is that really like a bust?
I don't know what quarterback he is, but he's a bust to me. Shoot.
He's currently being drafted as a backup quarterback in single quarterback leagues.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, guess what?
I mean, that's fine.
He's a bus.
Okay, yeah. You stole mine. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Anthony Richardson's being drafted way too high. I'll just pile on right now. He played in 8 games last year. He only finished 2 of them. And then he was hurt the other 9 games. This guy cannot stay healthy. If you can't stay healthy, why am I going to draft you as a fantasy quarterback? And why am I going to draft you in the 5th round when I can wait and get somebody like Caleb Williams or All the other quarterbacks that we've been talking about so far, like, no way. Way too high. Now, granted, if he can stay healthy, he's basically a guaranteed rushing touchdown every game because he vultures the running back. So I'll give him that. At least if he can stay healthy, you're going to get probably 15 rushing touchdowns with this guy.
Oh, so, wow. That's a high number.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I'm saying. All right. Did we do our sleeper?
Wait, and bust? No, bust. Do you have a bust?
Did I not do a bust?
No.
Oh, shit.
I got one for you if you want to talk about him.
No, hold on.
You know, Kenny said not to. Come on. Piss the cheeseheads off.
I know. I don't want to. I think, Jordan Love. That's No, he had, so everyone remembers last year because at the end of the day, he had great stats and he finished the season off great. But he was very hot and cold. He had streaks of games where he threw a lot of picks, and then he had streaks of games where he was throwing multiple touchdowns and no interceptions, and he was playing fantastic. So it's a tale of two Jordan Loves. You don't know which one you're getting. I'm on the betting side that you're probably getting the latter. You're getting him. He's going to play a little bit more awful this year, but that's my only concern with him. I mean, there is a premium where you're getting him in the 7th round. If I were to say bust fantasy wise, I think disregard Jordan Love. I love CJ Stroud. I just want to get that out of the way. I love him, and I think he's a great quarterback, and I think he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns. He's going to be very good for Houston. However, drafting him in the 4th round as like the 3rd quarterback off the board, he does not rush the ball a ton. And taking a guy that doesn't have rushing ability, has 0 rushing upside, they have to throw at least 30, 35 touchdowns to be like a top fantasy option. So I love CJ Stroud as the talent as a quarterback, but drafting him as like the 5th overall quarterback in the 4th round, I think that's where I'm hesitant. So I wouldn't do that.
Hey, real quick, I also want to mention real quick, Bo Nix might be a startable quarterback in fantasy at some point this year. You should keep him on your watch list. He'll be undrafted, but definitely somebody you could keep your eye on, and he might have a favorable matchup. Might be able to cover a bye week for you. I like him.
Heck yeah.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, I've always been a Bo Nix fan. I thought he was always getting the hard end of the deal from all his days at Auburn. But what I think you're seeing at Oregon was another thing of progression and maturity. Same thing with Michael Penix going from Indiana to Washington. And I think all those guys, the 6 year, I give them a hard time all the time. But I think they'll be good as far as being game ready now. I think Bo Nix is very smart. Football mind is around a lot of football coaches, things like that. So those guys is, I think, easily transferable over. So we'll see there. Let's go to running back. Make up some time. Let's do a running back. What you guys think?
My sleeper is based on where you're drafting them and where I think they're going to finish and how they're going to do in their offense is Isaiah Pacheco. I think they did not draft a running back there. They still have CEH on their roster. I think Jerick McKinnon may still be there. He may not be. I just think that you saw towards the playoffs, they started leaning on Pacheco for everything. He was getting passing. He had 44 catches last year out of the backfield. Like, that's a good floor if you're playing in a PPR. I think Pacheco, he's a hard runner. He's going to play games, and he's going to get touchdowns. He's going to be a great fantasy option. And you're drafting him. Granted, you're getting him in like the 3rd round. But I think he's got potential upside to be a good RB1. Pacheco, draft him. He'll be on my team somewhere.
All right. I'm going to go real quick. A little bit of a reach here, but I'm going to say Najee Harris is going to be my sleeper. The reason why is Warren is already hurt his hamstrings. He's going to miss some time already. We already said Pittsburgh's going to run the ball a lot with Arthur Smith's offense. So I just think he's going to get the opportunity. Their offense is going to be better, a little bit better than last year. They got better blocking now. And I just don't think Najee can be as bad as he was last year. So he has the potential to sneak into, a higher RB2 by the end of the season. And he's being drafted right now as a flex option. So
I got 3, but I want to go ahead and run them off real quick. 1, Ray Davis in Buffalo. Temple guy, yes, I know it's a homer pick, but his numbers in Vanderbilt was crazy. His numbers at Kentucky is crazy. He's a bruiser. I think he's a good complementary back to James Cook. I think he fits the Buffalo style of how they like to run the ball, and I think he is going to cook. They need playmakers. He's have a good preseason thus far. That's my number 1 guy. Behind that, Chase Brown in Cincinnati. I think people are just like, oh, I guess they're just going to throw the ball now because they have no running back. And if you saw how he was playing towards the end of the season last year, like he's ready. Like that, his family, they just workhorses. And I know they got Zach Moss there and Blase. Well, I don't care. Chase Brown is going to cook. I'm telling you right now. There's a reason why they let Joe Mixon go. So that's what I got.
You said you had 3.
Yeah, I do have. I didn't want to get Rico Dow in.
Yeah, baby.
Hell no.
Yeah, baby.
I'm telling you right now, Zeke ain't it. When I was watching I got Zeke on my team. When I was watching the little preseason joint and they like punching the ball out of him, like little boy in him, I said, "Hey Zeke, you don't even want to be out there. You're just trying to steal."
No.
I know when a player is out there because compete and win, and when he's stealing, trying to get the NFL checks.
We're talking about practice.
Brian, he did change his number. He is 15 on Dallas.
Okay, well, look,
that's fine.
Say anything to keep you get a check. I get it, but they don't got a lot of things down there, and I like how Rico runs. He's a hard runner. So that's kind of like my sneaky pick, though. That's like something sneaky in the tuck, right?
I almost said Zeke, bro. I'm big on Zeke this year.
No, he's gonna be trash. Listen, you guys need to running backs for some reason. People need to stop forgetting about certain running backs. Like there are a lot of running backs that are getting forgotten about. Ramondre Stevenson's the workhorse back in New England. He's getting forgotten about. Kenneth Walker, the workhorse back in Seattle. I don't care about Charbonnet. He's getting forgotten. He's in the 5th round. You can draft him.
David Montgomery.
I had James Conner. We talked about him earlier. James Conner is a forgotten man, but he just performs. Just be guaranteed he's gonna miss like 4 games.
It's the Gibbs show. It's over for David Montgomery.
Nope.
Bro,
it's not. Yeah. Hey, I got one more. I really like Javonte Williams in Denver this year. Yeah.
With Audric Easton, however say his last name?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro.
That's Javonte Williams' backfield. I don't care.
Okay.
He might get cut, dog.
No. Javonte Williams?
Yeah.
No.
He could get cut.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So we'll see. If he plays this 3rd preseason game,
No, he's not playing this 3rd preseason game, bro. He is their number 1 running back.
Bro, I'm telling you. They drafted Audric for a reason. They ain't draft him just to play behind. And he's a truck. He is a truck. He is a truck, bro. I like him. All
right, Kenny, get your bust out of the way. Christian McCaffrey.
No, I don't think Christian McCaffrey bust.
Okay, all right.
I drink
Bijan Robinson.
I think the bust for me is what's his name from Miami?
Which one?
What is his name?
Devon Achane.
Devon Achane. I think he's a bust to me. That's my bust. What are you talking about? He does one thing. He runs fast get to the outside. Other than that, he does nothing. He's fragile as hell. If you look at Texas A&M, he didn't play all of his whole career. So it's like, what are we talking about? I think where people like him at, and everybody's like, oh, HN runs the backfield down there in Miami, bro. Jalen Wright is a dog. Jalen Wright is a dog. He's gonna get touches, and I think everybody's going to draft HN high and realize that he doesn't control the whole backfield. He could be a gadget guy. It's only one ball, and there's a lot of miles to feed down there.
Here's what I would say. You have to consider roster construction anytime you're drafting players. When you draft a player like HN, you understand that the floor is low and it's a high risk move, but he can also win you a week and have like 5 touches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like
when he is healthy, that's his only concern. I agree with you, Kenny. He's fragile, but when he's healthy, he averaged 17 points, fantasy points.
Hey, that was
no. Average. Don't look at his average because that dude had some blow up games.
But that's what you want to look at. What's the average?
Brian. It's different when you have a year and nobody is expecting much. When now you're on the radar and people are scheming for you, then like people are like, okay, what is the runs that they did use him in? And they're going to pay attention when he's in the backfield because you're not going to go from being the guy that's running the outside zone and running the toss and sweep to now you're running in between the tackles because he wasn't doing that. He did inside zone sometimes, but the most time they're trying to get him outside. So now they're going to force him and say, no, you need to run between the tackles. And that's not his thing. Jalen Wright, a guy like that, where people are like, can he run between the – that's all he did at Tennessee. But he also can run on the outside, and he's fast as hell too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, they're going to pick and choose, and you still got Raheem Mostert that's going to still get the touch too. So it's like –
I mean, here's his games last year. 18 carries for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was in the 70-point blowout where he started getting his time in. That was against Denver. Then he played Buffalo. He had 8 carries for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then he played the Giants. He had 11 carries for 151 and 1 touchdown. Then he gets hurt, and that's when he falls off a little bit. So I think he's going to be good, but the problem is you have to draft him so high. Now, in your case, Brian, I know that you kept him as a sleeper in one of your leagues. You don't have to worry about that. So, like, you could be on his nuts all day long. But I guarantee you, if you're sitting at the beginning, the first pick of the 3rd round, are you taking HN right there?
Oh, no. Yeah, I agree. His position's too high. I'll give you that.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm taking a safer pick at high in the draft.
Yeah.
Who you got?
I'll let Brian do his bust because I feel like the one we're gonna pick is the same.
You do?
Yeah.
Brian is looking right now for his bus.
Hey.
Because I have between two, and one is spicy and one is just regular. So I'd rather do the regular one.
Let's say both of them. Put them out.
My bust this year is Saquon.
Oh.
So I was on him earlier. If we had drafted earlier in the year, I would have been on him. But you got to remember one thing about Philly, man. They like to give the ball to many running backs. And so
they're not paying this dude that much money to not give
him. I get it. But I don't know. I just don't think he's going to have he's not going to get all the love, man. He's not worth drafting in the 1st round.
He's being drafted the 2nd round. 3rd pick in the 2nd round. 2 or 3.
I don't know what you're looking at, but I don't know. Some of the mocks I've been doing, he's been in the 1st round.
Hey, where's Boston Scott
at? Not there.
Not there. Okay, so he's gonna get the ball.
Right.
Who else are you gonna get the ball to?
Hey,
you're drafting Saquon at the turn. You're probably seeing he's probably going in the 1st in Brian's drafts, in his mock drafts, because people are taking him because they know they're picking again real soon and they'd rather have Saquon.
I'm seeing him go
like on the turn
between like 8 and 12.
Yeah, I don't. Sure.
Who you got, Ryan?
Oh, so that was not my bus. So I'll do my safer bus. I think Rachaad White is not going to be good this year. He was the number 1 running back for Tampa Bay last year, but he was wildly inefficient, and he had he had a ton of catches out the backfield that boosted his stats. I think Bucky Irving is a sleeper pick, But yeah, I just think Rachaad White has not very great vision for finding the gaps and getting in the hole. So that's my one pick. The spicy one is someone that is being drafted high that I think I want to stay away from, and that's Kyren Williams.
Oh, that was my other guy. Yeah.
He is being drafted right near Saquon, right around there. My big problem with Kyren Williams is Sean McVay. They cannot commit to a guy. Like they've given no draft capital for Kyren Williams. And yes, he was great last year, but like I could see Blake Corum coming in and somehow taking over the backfield.
For sure he's going to do that because he's always done two backs. Last year they didn't have it, so it seemed like Kyren Williams, oh my God, this is his backfield. But that's because they couldn't get anybody to be healthy, right? And even Darrell Henderson, they brought him to back to put him in there. They had all these other guys, right? But Blake Corum, they drafted him for a reason.
Yes, he's going to play.
He's going to play. He's going to get ticks. So
I like Blake Corum.
Yeah.
So I'm off on Kyren. I'm not drafting him. Yeah. He won't be on any of my teams, more than likely.
You said that now.
I said more than likely because I will never 100% say no because if value is there, I'm going to take him.
All right. Well, too easy. I know we definitely went over on time than we normally do, but
whatever.
Zach, we appreciate everybody tapping in. We hope you like those sleepers and busts, man. I know fantasy's about to kick in real soon. I know you guys have their draft this weekend.
Itching, baby.
Hopefully you guys make some good picks out there. Hopefully this was helpful. As always, like, subscribe, share with your family and friends. We appreciate the love and support. Gear up, save your little duckies, your extra money for this road to 100K. Let's get it started. So we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.
Peace.